Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into my channel, Huub Hildenbrand Guitar Academia. Today we go on with a major scale, with a major tonality, more in this classical Western harmony sense. And this is like the next chapter, so to speak, after we already discussed the E minor tonality. We now go into the different functions and so on with the E major tonality. So we check out the different ways how we can structure the chords in that tonality, but also how we can branch out of that tonality, but at the same time confirming the tonality, so not modulating somewhere else. So the possibilities in that tonality. All right. In major, the whole theory is a bit more simple, a bit more straightforward. Major is more connected also with the harmonic series, of course, and we just have one major scale, whereas we have like like three different minor scales. So it's major is less complex, and at the same time, major has a maybe also due, of course, to the harmonic series. More strong feeling of tonality. So, in a way, we can branch out more, or we can go out a little bit, go a bit more outside of the tonality, because the gravitational pull, so to speak, of this major tonality is a bit more strong than in minor. But anyway, we start with a tonic, and by the way, we have all these PDFs also. Just go down in the description below. There is a link where you can download this PDF, also supporting my channel, of course, with that. But also you can donate if you go on my channel, on my website, huubhildenbrand.com, and there, Academia. You also find this link down in the description below. There's a button where you can donate. Okay, and for that for that lesson also you find a PDF, as I really discussed minor very more into depth, I would go more quick now through the different other possibilities in major. So I will not discuss everything on the page. So if you really want to have the full package, so to speak, you have to download the PDF. Okay, so E major. Let's settle our ear a bit in this tonality. All right, so our ear is now in this mood, in this tonality of E major, and when I'm just thinking scale, actually, just in a way like modal, just playing these 7 notes of the scale, I automatically actually also show different chords, different roots at certain times, and different functions, and that is maybe not actually. Also, if you don't think about that, you create these sounds. So that's why I think it's a really good idea, really to go more into detail about the different also diatonic chords in that major scale, because that also gives you a great possibility when you improvise, also thinking different roots. You know, I mean, you can, for example, you can still have this E pedal kind of a thing. So E is always there as your center, tonal center. But when I go to C sharp, for example, in this, in a way I'm creating like a subdominant here. Kind of I open the door slightly to a different root, to a different plateau in that scale. So I'm in a way I show C sharp, but in a way I'm on this A plateau. So easily I can go to A. So it was I show the C sharp and then I go to the root. Yeah, you hear that? I'm just playing single notes, and also with this E in the bass, I can create different functions, different plateaus there. Okay, so on that page you find different possibilities how you can make this E tonic, like this tonic function, this tonic chord, very clear. So you play arpeggios, so not I mean you can also play them as harmonic structures, but I just figured out these different sounds, 3 and 4-part structures, which really make this E chord, E tonic clear. So you don't have to think too much about how you have to play these notes in that way that it really shows E as a root. No, these structures already are pre-programmed to show that root, that E. So one structure is of course the triad, E major triad. So as an arpeggio, also as harmonic structure. Okay, so that's of course that's very clear. These are really the pillars of the E major tonality. So the next would be the same. Actually, we have an E major triad, but we add different notes. So we can add a second, and I call this chord E, and then / F sharp, and these names may be a bit confusing for you, but if so, please check out the course on 4-note structures. There, it's really like a 10-lesson course which really goes into that, and also about the different symbols and names for the different structures, for the 43 structures. Okay, so E with F sharp. Yeah, so that's very, very clear, this E tonality. Then we can also add, and we can also add the A in that triad, E, G sharp, B, and then an A. And these two, also these two sounds are actually quite interesting, because what we are doing, we insert a kind of a passing tone or changing note. We just take two chord tones, which are a third apart, and then we insert the second there. So The first was we have this E major triad, and then between G sharp and E we add this F sharp. So by that actually we can play this arpeggio in many ways, but always guarantee that, I mean not always, but mostly this F sharp will resolve anyway quite quickly to G sharp or E, because it's just in between those notes. It's just a passing tone or a changing tone. And the same is true for A. A is actually sitting right as a passing tone in between of G sharp and B. So tension resolution. So the tension is built in that structure, but the structure itself is also there. So its resolution is always there. All right, so that's the sound. A really nice sound. These two with an F sharp or an A added major triads, they're really nice. And then we have an E major seventh arpeggio. So it's again we have an E major triad, but this time we add a D sharp. And this is a bit different than these two before, because this D sharp is not filling directly a space in this basic triad. In itself, it's a four-note structure built in thirds, and of course, it's a very typical sound, for example, in jazz. So. But I would really I do not consider this sound too much. Of course, in jazz, you can say it's like the standard tonic sound, the standard tonic chord arpeggio. But when you go more into this classical, into this more classical theory, actually, you find that these other sounds, triad and triad with an added 2, triad with an added 4, are actually more in, especially as an arpeggio, of course, are more in the tonality. The D sharp is quite, I mean, it's a nice note, and it's also a nice arpeggio, but it's in a way it's a different category. And when you listen to my explanations just now, it's you know why actually. Okay, that was wrong. No F sharp. So. Also, you have just one possibility of resolution of this extra note. The D sharp can only go really resolve like directly to the root. Then we have another interesting triad, and this triad, there's also a chord symbol actually. It's like E sus2, which means we have the 2 instead of the third. And this structure, E, F sharp, B, it's also quite nice for, it also confirms E as a root. Maybe not so clear, it's more vague, you can say. But you have this perfect fifth there, EB, which has a strong pull towards the tonic. It really confirms the E as a tonic. And then you have the F sharp. And the F sharp on one explanation, of course, there the F sharp is also part of the harmonic series of E. The note E, it's like the ninth partial. You have an F sharp. And also the F sharp has this kind of gravitational pull towards B, like it's a perfect fourth or perfect fifth down. But then the B has a tendency to go to E. So in a way, it's yes, you have a kind of a also gravitational pull to B, but the B really strongly wants to go to E. So you also, it's more, as I said, it's more wake, but you make this tonality also clear. And also you can see this chord actually as a fourth chord, as a three-part fourth chord. So you have perfect fourths from F sharp to B and from B to E. So it's also, you can also say it's a B sus4, for example. Yes, there are these no, not that one, sorry. Yeah, that's also this. But when you play the E, then when you play all these structures, you really feel that sounds as the resolution, home bass. Okay, we go on with this page. There you see all these dominant versions. So we have the tonic, and then we have its dominant chord. And the dominant of the tonic of E is B or B7. And we have different scales, and we have different arpeggios. It's all written there. Yeah, you will see that. Maybe I just pick some things here. A very nice three-note structure of B7 is also happening very frequently in the music of Johann Sebastian Bach. It's a B major, B dominant seventh chord, but without the fifth. So it's just B, D sharp, A. Or when you start from A, B, D sharp, you can also say that's a double diminished chord from A. But we think that structure in that context as a B7 without the fifth. So it's and you also can play this as chords. I mean, as harmonics. You can. Yeah, and this sound really resolves very nice to E major. So what we can do, for example, we can take that three-note structure. Yeah, let's do that. So A, B, D sharp, and we take the four-note structure E major with an F sharp added. So, and we just alternate between these two structures, and we just play it melodic. So you really hear this chord change there, and that's what makes the structures which I pick so strong, because they're really clearly I mean, they really make this basic chord sound, basic chord quality very clear. So you can just play these arpeggios and it's programmed in these structures that you hear the chord changes. Okay, so you can just have fun with these structures, and now you learn a different sound here. Huh? I think for most of you, it's kind of maybe new to really think that as an arpeggio, as a structure in itself. Like yeah. Okay, and then you see. Of course, you can instead of B7, you can also omit the root, and then you have a D sharp diminished chord, which you can use, and also D sharp -7 flat 5 structure. That's also possible. But I think these are not really that strong. I mean, of course, D sharp diminished is very strong as a. For example, alternating between D sharp diminished and E with an added A, for example, that's also nice. And also very clear what functions you're dealing with here. Tonic, dominant. Resolution, tension. Okay, then you have a half-tone, whole-tone scale here you can use for B. That's also a nice sound, and it's a very frequent sound, very frequently used in jazz, like Coltrane. I think is one of the first, maybe, I don't know who introduced this sound, but you can also use it in a quite linear, more Turkish Arabic way. Yeah, I show you what I mean here. So I play E major scale, E major tonic, and then I go to B half-tone, whole tone as a dominant sound. Yeah, this was just a brief example, or something like maybe. Okay. Then you have a very strange scale here, like a whole tone scale. It's like a symmetric scale. It's like really ambivalent scale. It's of course very easily to lose track where the root is because the structure just repeats all the time on every whole step. And this is one of the few sounds, you can say, where I would consider actually a dominant seventh sharp 5 sound. Usually when I have this sharp 5, like in this case B sharp 5, B7 sharp 5, yeah, like a more jazz chord, you would call that note an F double sharp here, because it wants to resolve up. Yeah, and that's normally when you have that, it's actually a flat 6 or flat 13, a G. That context. It's really for I only say this is an F. I mean that's a sharp 5 in a dominant chord. If really the fifth, the perfect fifth, is not in the scale. It's kind of wrong, and this sharp 5 really wants to resolve up. And that's only possible in major, like in a dominant tonic situation. I can only resolve to like a half step up to a chord tone, to G sharp in this case, and G sharp is a major third. So it's only possible. Yeah. So normally in most cases, when I play this sound, it also implies that there's also a perfect fifth. That's just because of the harmonic series, actually, and also because of mostly the context in which this chord functions. But yeah. In this case, when we really have a whole tone scale and we really want to have that sound, then of course we don't have a perfect fifth. We have an augmented fifth or a diminished fifth. But we say when this sharp 5 is resolving up, then that's really the sound of a sharp 5. And we can also have a nice arpeggio, and this arpeggio goes like. It has a strange name, E flat augmented over A, or with A. And if you invert, enharmonic spellings, and you take the B in this case as a root, then you see, okay, it's a B augmented triad with an added minor seventh. So B, 7, sharp 5. And that's the augmented triad. But with an added. Oh, that was wrong, sorry. I don't use that sound too much, but it's a nice sound. So let me play that maybe in alternating E with F sharp for part structure. might take a while until I'm really into that these sounds again, because as I said, I'm not using that very much. But if you like these sounds, these 4-note structures, please check out the course on 4-note structures, because there I really you really have an overview of all the 43 different possibilities, how all 4-note structure possible. And also what you have there is all these arpeggios and fingerings, these 5 positions also on the fretboard. So to really practice these positions, to really get the fingering down for the arpeggios. Because that's a practice you do anyway when you have like major arpeggios or 7th arpeggios. So you can do that, the whole procedure actually, with all different kinds of 4-note structures as an arpeggio. Then you have Mixolydian flat 9, also an interesting sound for the dominant in a major tonality. So this is just a Mixolydian scale, just a normal diatonic scale, but instead of a C sharp, we have a C, so another tension, another alteration. So E major. And then what I just did, that's a very typical phrase in an Indian raga actually, and that's Ahir Bhairav. It's a very, that's the interesting thing. If you bring, and we will come to that later in this whole process here on Guitar Academia, when you bring all these things together, like Western harmony, Indian raga, Turkish makam music, then you suddenly see that it's very strong. Everything is connected, and you can learn from these different perspectives. If you're in one kind of a situation, like we are in the situation dominant tonic, or like E major tonality, and then we can sing different things. Yeah? We can. Maybe I show that briefly what I mean, that it's not too abstract, because I think it's very interesting. So we can sing, for example, we are in E major. So we sing E. Western harmony, E with an F sharp. Now I go to Kamaj Raga. At the same time, I'm in the secondary dominant to my subdominant A. And I can sing subdominant, but I can also just play it in a modal way. Also kind of, I played Kamaj. I thought I was thinking about raga movement, because Kamaj is using the minor 7s in the major scale sometimes, and but at the same time I have this the movement of tonic, secondary dominant to subdominant, and I can go on. I can sing E major tonality. Now, that was a typical melodic motive or a melodic line which is really connected to Sega in Turkish makam music. Of course, like Sega has also some microtones, but you can play that also without the microtones. And also another thing would be thinking E major. And now. And this, for example, is the upward movement of Desh, of a raga Desh. So you can just combine all these things. Okay, I did some bit strange stuff in the middle there, but I think in a way you get an idea here. All right, then on that page you have different scales for more scales for the dominant, for the B7. And these scales, they really come from minor. So you can also use minor scales, minor dominant scales, so like harmonic minor fifth mode, altered, Mixolydian flat 13, or harmonic minor fifth mode with an added sharp 9. You can use also it's like a bit like a deceptive kind of resolution then, but you can use it to go very nice also back to the E major tonality, to E major. Okay, then you have this tritone substitution there. I will discuss this a bit later when I talk about augmented sixth chord. And also this Neapolitan chord we already spoke in E minor tonality, so I don't repeat myself here. And just in general, all this tritone substitution and related to it's more a thing which is used in jazz. If you go from C minor 7 to F7 and then to E major 7, for example, this is like a jazz context. And in jazz, you use these 2 5s and some chords more freely. You can say it's not so in a way grounded in this really basic tonality, really on the floor, on the basic functions. It's more not so strong connected, you can say. So it easily modulates, very quick. And okay, I think I talked enough. Just print out this PDF for you, or watch it on your computer, and then I think you have enough stuff to practice. And I hope you understand everything. Otherwise, you should send me a message here, or just put some comments on YouTube, and maybe I can make another video then to explain that more if it's not clear. All right, thanks for watching. My name is Hildenbrand.